that. Looking good. Overexposed. So close to this light. Okay, let's see if we're on. Hey everybody, the two people that are watching anyway. Give me 1 second to set up, and then we're gonna go live and paint this 12 by 24 inch canvas. Right? 3 people now. 1 second, still gotta set up. Always switching cameras. There's always some kind of technical issue when we try to do all these lives all at the same time across all these platforms. So give me 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1.5.
Perfect. Sounds good. Everything's good.
Sounds good. Perfect. Oops. Oops. I'll get the thing upside down. That's fine. Oh. Got that. Let's start recording. Always some kind of issue. Hey, everybody. All right. Happy Little Landscapes. Back in the studio today. We've got this painting behind here coming out in 2 days. This one right here. On my YouTube channel. Check out youtube.com/c/Happy Little Landscapes. We're going to go with this 12 by 24 inch canvas. We've already got the Bob Ross liquid white on the canvas. We got about 20 colors again. I love doing these really colorful scenes. So my wife, London's going to be moderating the comments. You know, you can ask it, you know, suggest a color you'd like to use. You can, you know, say throw a mountain in there, or you think this should be this way or that way. Totally up to you. And we're going to try to paint a desert scene today and see what we can get done, right? Always messing with all my equipment. So I don't even know what platforms are we on? Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook right now?
Yeah.
Right on. So follow my Twitch at Happy Little Landscapes, YouTube at Happy Little Landscapes, and Facebook at Happy Landscape Art. I find that people have trouble trying to find me on Facebook because I couldn't use at Happy Little Landscapes on Facebook. It was too long of an at handle. So Happy Landscape Art. We've got our Bob Ross brush set, some of the Bob Ross colors, and then the Magic Fly colors. If you guys don't have the brushes or a palette or an easel or a canvas or the Magic Fly set, you can always go to amazon.com/shop/Happy Landscape Art. And I've made lists of anything that you need to paint just like me, okay? If you want to get the hats or the apron or any of the paintings or the prints or the pillows, flip-flops, phone cases, laptop sleeves, I have all that stuff on my Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/Happy Landscape Art. Right, we're going to go with like a desert scene on this 12 by 24 inch canvas. So to start off, you guys know me, I love my sunsetty skies. So we're going to go right into the bright red and the yellow ochre and not waste any time and get right to it, right? And I always like starting around, you know, you never know where you're, at least when I paint, I never know where anything is going to be until it drops out of my brush, right? So we'll start lower than you think you should anyway. We'll kind of throw this reddish yellow kind of desert sunset sky in here with the yellow ochre and the bright red, the Bob Ross colors, right? You know what I didn't do? I didn't tell you what colors we have. I'm just such in a rush this morning. So from Bob Ross, we've got the sap green. This burnt sienna is from the Gamblin 1980 paints. Alizarin Crimson, Phthalo Blue, Midnight Black, Titanium White, Bright Red, Yellow Ochre, and Indian Yellow. And then from the Magic Fly set, which you can find amazon.com/shop/Happy Landscape Art, got the seaweed green, the emerald green, lavender, silver, pink, rose, what the hell's that color again? Magenta, the yellow green, the mid yellow, and the orange red. Bunch of different things. May not use them all, but in the meantime, we're going to try to use most of them anyway. Let's see. We're going to go from the, without washing the brush. I'll show you guys how we wash our brush when we get to that. But without washing the brush, we're going right into the Alizarin Crimson. We're just going to drop some of that in here. I never like making straight lines with my skies, especially when you blend them. You don't want these, you know, arcs of color where you can see all these straight lines. Grab a little bit of our phthalo blue with the crimson. Make this nice, deep, dark, purpley color. A little bit of the midnight black on this side. Why not? Always cover the sides, guys. You never know who's going to buy your painting, how they're going to frame it, how they're going to hang it, you know, what parts are going to be visible. Maybe they put it hanging down the stairs when they, you know, you walk down the stairs. You don't want to be able to see this white border around the top of your painting, right? Nobody wants to see that. So just cover the sides. Let's see. All right, we use Jasco brush cleaner. You can also find it on Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. And go get yourself a bucket. It helps keep you when you're spraying, spray that paint everywhere. It just helps keep your house nice and clean. I've got a little golf ball basket down in the bottom of mine, and that just gives me a surface to kind of beat the brush against.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Could you just turn the volume down on your phone, like 2 little taps?
Is it too loud?
The input's too loud.
Okay, how's it now? Always some kind of something when we're doing these lives. Sound any better?
I have to wait for the delay to catch up.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, we're going to take our 2-inch brush and we're going to start in our lightest area, right? And just make these crisscross strokes. You can pick up some of that liquid white that's down here. You can see how the brush went white. And put that up in here, just brighten everything up. Okay, just crisscrossing back and forth, just in fast motion. I'm not going to come out into my dark colors and drag those into my little sunset sky as of right now anyway. I keep it as bright as we can, right? Bring it down, mix it back and forth so you don't have these hard lines. And now you got this mixture of Indian yellow and yellow ochre, and bright red and crimson, right? And then we'll come up here into our darker colors and just mix those down to where we have this nice soft line and that you really can't tell where one color kind of starts and one color stops, right? This nice little soft line. Let's see. Come down here, and we'll bring it into there. Kind of cover over the bottom. But I want to stay out of this nice light area. And then mix it up, make it a little grayish. Like that, bing, bang, boom. And we got a wicked little sunsetty sky. For your viewing pleasure, right? Let's see. I mean, just take and just kind of mix all those in together here. Go back and forth across the whole canvas. Take out all these brush strokes. And then bam, just like that. Nice and easy. This wicked little sunset that's coming in, right? Now, you can leave yours like that if you wanted to, but I like to make a really dramatic sort of sky. So if you guys like that, that's what we're going to go with today. And in order to do that, we got to have a lot of clouds, right? Got to have a lot of clouds when you're making a dramatic sky. So we're going to stay with our thick Bob Ross colors. The Magic Fly colors are a lot more wet, if that makes any sense. They're not as thick and dry as the Bob Ross colors are. So why don't we come into the red, snag a little bit of that crimson down in here into the red, just darken it up. Maybe a smidge of the magenta, right? If you guys are painting along at home. We're going to drag the brush through just like this. Drag it through, kind of making this little chiseled edge to where the brush is coming down like that, right? And just far off in the distance, let's say there's a couple little floater clouds in here. Just real far. Don't have to be very thick with paint. You want it to be very, very light. You don't need a whole lot. And then as we go up further into our darker sky, our clouds need to become darker as well. Our shadows anyway, right? Then we got this big guy that comes down here. However you want. All right, dab it in. And you can start making these little circles far off in the distance. You got these far off clouds. This guy's like more of an angle. He comes down, just gets very light. A little bit more underneath there. Why don't we go with the midnight black up here? Just gonna try to keep this one nice and quick for you guys. All right, nobody wants to spend all day watching some painter paint a bunch of crap, right? So we'll come in, make our little mini circles. Again, in slow motion. I'm doing counterclockwise circles. You can do whatever's easier for you. But what I'm trying to do is leave like this little bit of light over the edge of those clouds back there. Gonna mix it up. I get these big old clouds kind of creeping in from the sides. Excuse me. Creeping in from the sides of our landscape, right? I love painting these kind of panoramic scenes. They just look really nice. I don't know why I love them so much. I take those clouds, just swipe them over from each side. I'll wash off the brush so we can get to that lighter colored cloud, and then we'll be rocking and rolling. Now rock and or roll. All right, these ones down here with that red, it's just going to blend in so softly, like they're just off in the distance. Those. Kind of bring them up. And when we paint with Josh, you never know what we're going to paint, right? I don't even know. I don't know what it's going to look like by the time we get done. And that's the fun part about it to me. Throw some of that blue and crimson back in here. You never know, again, how far or how big your mountains are going to be. So just come down with your clouds a little bit more than you think you need to anyway. That's what I do. A little bit more than we think we need to go. And then you can always cover it if you don't like it. You can cover it up with something. And that's the best part about painting. You literally decide what it's going to look like by the time you get done. I'm going to take our small palette knife, pull out a little bit of that titanium white. Nice thick titanium white. I use the Winsor & Newton white just because I use so much white that I go through it a lot and I don't like to wait for shipping. So I'll go to Michael's and pick up that Winsor & Newton. I'm just going to drop it in different places, right? Just different places inside your cloud. You don't want to cover up everything, obviously. And it doesn't have to be the same across the whole thing. You don't want it to look uniform. Right? Clouds are not a specific shape. They're not all colored the same everywhere. So don't worry about it, man or lady. Wipe off all that dark paint. Come back in here for our little guy far off in the distance, right? Just gonna beat the devil out of that brush. Gonna beat it. Beat it. Beat it. All right. We're gonna come in with our clean dry brush, a 1-inch brush, and we're gonna go in the lighter area first. And all we're really doing is just disturbing what this paint looks like. Not blending it, not over mixing it, just sort of disturbing what it looks like. Because the more you mix it, the more it's literally going to disappear and just blend in with all the rest of the colors on the canvas, right? So you just want to kind of just disturb what that knife left. Not mix it, not blend it. Those are bad words, right? Just disturb it. You don't have to, you're touching it so softly. All you're doing is just taking it onto the bristles and you can see barely any touching from the brush. We're just kind of mixing it up just a little bit. Don't want to go nuts with it. Because you will literally blend it all the way and then you'll have to start over, right? So we're going to take these from the bottom, again, just very lightly touching all the way to the top. Coming over to the side. And that'll just flatten down those little bits of raised paint. Some are higher than others. It just kind of flattens them down and makes this far off, thank you, this far off a little floater cloud back there. And you can do it as many times as you want. If you want to brighten yours up or have them a different shape or a different color. But the less white paint you put on there, the more kind of shadows with the blue and the crimson and the different colors that you'll see underneath your white. Let's see down here. I'm going to keep this nice little soft area. And again, some of these clouds might get covered. in your painting or my painting, you might get covered up. But we know they were back there to begin with, right? And it's very hard to sneak something in back behind something once you've done it already. So do a little bit more than you think you need to. And then you can always cover it when you get done. Throw a little bit more up here because this guy kind of disappeared a little. This white is very easy to make disappear. It's like a magic trick. There we go. We got this very far off, distant bit of clouds. Maybe there's a little bit of sunshine that's kind of peeking through and hitting all these different light areas. And that's what I want. All right. Okay, why don't we throw some mountains back in here, right? The desert, or at least around where I live, is not a flat desert. There's a lot of mountains that make up the Las Vegas Valley here. So we're gonna get the crimson, the blue, and the black. Just make this real dark. It's almost gonna look black by the time you get done mixing it all up. Real dark mountain color. Okay, come in, scrape a little bit of that up, get it on the edge of our knife like that. And then we'll come back and just kind of decide where these little mountains live just by dropping them on like that. You're just gonna literally smush the color right onto the canvas. Nothing difficult about it. Just smush it on there. Not trying to make the knife break or anything else. We're just trying to make a little bit of color stick to the canvas back here. What's funny is the more times I paint something, you can never paint it exactly the same. So let it flow, right? You want some original piece of art. You don't want to have the same kind of stenciled print over and over and over again. So just let your mountains flow. Do something different every time. You don't have to do it the same. I'm going to take our 1-inch brush here. Just kind of grab it at the top. We're only worried about what the top line looks like, right? You don't want to have something poking up above your line like a bristle. Like that. So we'll just make another hump. And then bam, you're just going to pull it out. And the further you get out, the less you're touching, right? It's almost like you're starting in here and then you're coming away as you come out. And that'll make it just lighter down around the bottom. Pull it out, pull it down. Any which way you want. A lot of mine are going this way. Maybe we'll take this side of the mountain and we'll go the other way. Blend it out here to the edge. Pull it down at an angle. Just like that, you've got this mountain that's already set up and just waiting for highlights, right? You can already see the lighter and darker areas on there, which is the best part about paint. It's literally telling me what to do without having to do anything, right? Blend it down here. Never worry about what's happening at the bottom. You can always cover over the bottom. You can do something else. You don't have to worry about what's down there. Just worry about what's above, right? We can't go back in now and add a little bit of cloud. It makes it very difficult once you put something down to put something behind your mountain. And if you guys have painted with me before, you know I love my dramatic skies. So take the longest time on your sky, right? It seems like I do it like that. It's only because I've done about 500 paintings. So take the longest time on your sky. If you don't have a good sky, you're not going to have a good painting. That's the first thing people are going to look at, right? The most beautiful bit of our painting has to take the longest time. Okay, now I normally put snow on all my mountains, not all of them, but the majority. But in the desert, we don't get a lot of snow down here. So we're going to take some of that Gamblin 1980 burnt sienna right here. Mix it with a little bit of titanium white, but not over mix it, right? You can see all the lighter and darker colors that I have in there. And then we're going to come back and just ever so lightly kind of touch and drag out on our mountains. Right? My knife is at the same angle of the canvas. You can see how I'm holding it. You know, if you're painting with me, study how I hold the brushes. That's what I did when I first started learning to paint. Was I looked at Bob Ross and I said, how does he hold that thing? You know what I mean? How does the motion that he makes when he's blending, the motion that when he's holding the knife, really study it. And the thing about the knife is you got to be fast. You can't go slow with the knife. It's not going to break on you, okay? In order for it to break and look realistic, you've got to pull it down quickly. So kind of decide where you want your highlights to be. Grab up some. Remember, always leave some room for shadowing too. And just pull it down fast. Maybe this side comes over here. And the more you pull it down quickly, the more little breaks and stuff that you'll find in your paint. Got this whole little ridge. It comes over this way maybe. All right, then we can come back in. And go with a little bit of the darker brown paint, mix that with the black. So we get this much darker brown color, right? Come in here into where our shadows were and just start dropping in these bits of shadowy area, right? All in different places. And the more and more you do, the more realistic it's going to be and the more it's going to pop and stand out. All right? Can't just have a mountain with all one color in it. So the more little shadow areas you do, the better it's going to look. Again, don't overdo it. You can get to a point where you've done too much. Trust me, I've been there. You do too many, you're like, oh, it's looking really cool. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. And then all of a sudden you've got, either a mountain that's way too dark or, too bright.
Josh, Maria's here.
Maria Williams?
Yes.
All right, Maria's here, guys. Maria needs a surgery, okay? So go to our Facebook pages. Hers is, the tag is SIP with 2 P's, SIPPSASS by Mia. And she has a event lined up for May 15th, okay? She needs a surgery. The insurance isn't going to cover it all, and she's got to get these masses kind of removed from her abdomen. So we're having an art fundraiser. I'm donating like 10 of my paintings, well, probably 7. I don't want to get your hopes up, Maria. And also I'm donating the proceeds of, some of the proceeds of my sales from now until then in my Etsy shop to go towards her surgery. She needs about $6,000. So reach down, find your sympathy, and on May 15th, go over to the live event and purchase a painting. And like I said, it's all going towards her surgery that she needs to have. She can't really move the lower half of her body right now. So if you guys are my fans, get over there. You got all these different, 20 to 30 different artists that are donating different paintings. I'm donating a bunch of my paintings, which you can probably get for less than what you can buy them in my store at, right? And it all goes towards a good cause, raising money for Maria. She's an awesome lady. She's bought tons of my paintings, so I kind of want to return the favor. And she's a wicked acrylic artist. I don't know how she does it. I've tried painting in acrylics. It's not my gig. But she can make some awesome stuff. Okay, what we're going to do now is take that brown, just grab some of it and just pull it out, right? The same way that we laid it down. So our brush is turning with these angles of our mountains, right? Just bringing it out, kind of dabbing it and pulling it down. Again, I don't want this very straight line. So come up higher in some places, go lower in some places. This way, we're going this way because we brought our brush out this way. All right, you can take it, kind of pull it down, and we'll get this nice little floating mountain off here in the desert. And this basically adds the dirt out, below the mountain. You can see how it's grown on the camera like that. Taking this is creating our desert, our deserty colors, right? Then you can go up a little bit, again, in the way that you laid them down. Angles are most important. So the further we get over here, the flatter we're getting. You can see these brush strokes like that. And then we'll just blend them out. Blend them down, blend them out. Pull them over any which way you can. Now we got this wicked looking mountain just kind of floating out in the middle of our desert. Then we can decide what else we're going to do from there. Because again, I've never painted a painting like this before. I try not to paint the same paintings. I'm not looking at I don't like painting the same painting. Even when I sell a painting, the next version will be a little bit different than the one before. All right, what we're going to do now, we got all this desert out there. Why don't we take a little bit more of that mountain mixture that we made up, right? Our crimson and blue and black. And we'll come in maybe a little bit higher over on this side. We've got this whole nother cliff. coming in this way. All right, staying along the lightest edges of my desert, right? Makes it look like it's much further away if we drop something down here in front. If you come up with a dark color, you know, if this down here was as dark as this front mountain wouldn't stand out as much. Throw some of that color down in here. Just like that. And just randomly put these dark colors down in here, because once we start to blend it out, you'll get all these little humps and bumps, like there's a bunch of rocks in here that just happen all on their own. It's awesome. People ask me all the time, like, oh, how'd you do that? I'm like, it's, you know, literally did it by itself. There was no, you know, talk to my brother. This is the artist. It's not me, right? The brush does everything. Tells me what to do. So thank you, brushes. All right, we're going to pull up. I'm going to get in front of you guys just for a second here, just so I can cover over that side with the same color of the mountain. And then again, we're going to come down, stay along our edges. Right? It doesn't have to be sharp and pointy like a pyramid all the time, right? Blend that down. Then you can see all these different little shadowy areas and lighter areas where we can eventually highlight our painting. Pull it over this way. There's a little bump in there. You just literally make it up as you go. And that is the funnest thing about painting to me. It's never going to look the same. You literally make it look however you want to make it look. And just don't overdo it. That's the hard part, is not overdoing something. You know what might look cool? Is if we had a whole nother little bit of mountain back here that we could connect. Like there's a ridge, right? So maybe we'll come up in here, make a little bit bigger of a mountain. Again, don't do these pointy edges. You don't need to have a pyramid out there. It's not ancient Egypt that we're painting, right? Maybe this mountain comes down and sort of connects in with that mountain. Then we can have like a little shelf over here, like a ridge, right? Then we're going to take this one. We're going to go right over that other stuff that we did. Just sort of blend it out a little bit. Have these different lines, different planes, right? You want to have 1, 2, 3. You want to make it kind of step back into our painting. Bring this guy's little shelf down like that. Get nice and soft down in here. Stay along the edge. Throw a little bump in for good luck. All right, never want it to be super straight. That's not realistic if it's all straight like that. So throw some bumps and humps in. There we go. Then we're going to come back in. Holy cow, the green is just sliding off my palette down here. And come back in with that, what's it, the Gamblin 1980, the burnt sienna. Going to mix it up with a little bit of white so we can kind of keep this same thing. If you still have some on your palette, go back and use that same paint, obviously. We're going to come in, just bring it down a little bit like that. Again, letting it break on its own. There's a little hump right there. I'm going to give it some differences, right? Pull it down, pull it down. I never like to have mine on a straight line up and down either. And come back in with that brown, get a little bit of that dark color so it's much darker. And on this side, we come back. It's like the sun is just having a real hard time reaching all the way back here. All right, drag this down. Dragging it down, dragging. Desolation of Smaug, the dragon. There we go. You got to think about, you know, if our sunlight is way back there, it's going to be lighting up these areas, but these mountains are going to be in the shadow, right, on this side of it down here. So don't go too crazy bright. Again, we're just pulling it down quickly to get it to break like this, right? Who knows? Maybe there's a little bit of sunlight just hitting the edge, the tip top of this little ridge right here. So we'll just make this a little bit brighter.
Josh.
Yeah.
Chris said, I thought I just heard Josh say that he was using Gamblin 1980. Can you ask him if it's a nice, stiff, dry paint?
It is actually. I don't use it a lot. I was given a lot of paints by a lady on Facebook who wasn't going to use hers anymore. And, you know, I was the first one to comment. I was like, oh, I'll take those. And she gave me a lot of the Bob Ross paints, and she had this Gamblin 1980. Now, this is the first time I've used it. It is very stiff. It's an awesome paint. I've heard they were good, and I just never tried them before. But I like it. It's not bad at all. I would recommend it. Let's throw a little bit of that lighter color in here too. And what looks really cool, you guys, is to go back in with just a little bit of black and just in random places, drop it in and just give your mountain these cool little deep shadows that are back there, right? Don't want it all to be the same color. So just in random spots, give it this little shadowing, these real deep dark colors. And that'll make your just lighter colors just pop. Look at that. Look at that. That's insane. And always, again, take a step back, right? I can look back on the camera and see what the painting looks like from your guys' angle. If you're real up close to the project, a lot of the times, you know, you might miss something or you'll overdo something because you don't see how it looks back there. So take a step back and check it out every once in a while. Back away from the project. Check it out. See what it looks like back there, right? Come back. You're like, okay, I like it. Or I don't like it. Totally up to you. Okay, we're going to make up some more of that mountain mixture because we used all of it. So the blue, the crimson, the black. All right. Nice big chunk. Mix it up really well, though, so it's very dark. You don't want to see any of the crimson inside the little pile of paint. And then since this one's going to be in the shadow, we'll come back over here. It's the same color that we used to make this mountain. We're just not going to blend it out with the brush, so it's going to stay nice and dark, right? Get too much of it in an area, go back, scrape it off, come back in, drop it in somewhere else. And again, angles are most important, right? So put them all in with the slope of your mountain. We're not going to leave this one all dark either, so don't worry. I mean, it looks really good like that, but it's not going to all be that color. What I need to do, because this canvas doesn't fit very well on this easel here, plus my easel is broken, I need to go to amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart and get my own easel from my own creator shop. But with this little thing down here, a lot of the times it gets in my way. I don't know how you guys feel about those little lips. I think if somebody were to design an easel that actually holds it by the frame of the canvas in the back and just lets it float, you know, it wouldn't get in the way as often. Let's see, just like that. All right, bunch of dark all over that thing. And then we can come back in. We're going to take our brown again. In this case, it's the Gamblin 1980 brown. The burnt sienna, and I'm not going to put as much white in it. I want it to be a dark brown. So let's grab some of that black as well, and we'll put that in there. Mix that up so it's this darker brownish color, and come in and just go over these highlights again, right? Let them mix together a bit. Grab some of the straight up brown. You just want to have these differences in color, you guys. I know I say it all the time in my videos, but you really do. You want to have a difference in color. You don't want it to be the same brown or the same dark or the same blue or the same sky. Just throw some differences in there. It makes it look really neat. And leave some of this, you know, the shadow part of our mountain to kind of shine through. I may need to go get some more of this this Gamblin 1980 brown out of the tray here. Might end up running out of the thing. All right, now we got these bits that are kind of connected. This ridge comes down. Again, yours does not have to look like mine. So do whatever you want to do with your painting, right? Yeah, I for sure am going to need to get some more of this brown out. Again, being real fast with the knife. You don't want to go slowly. And you can tell how much darker this one is than the ones in the back. And that's because we're in the shadow over here, right? Can't have this one just as bright as all of those if the sun's not going to hit it. Again, what we can do is take a little bit of that white with our brown and then grab a little bit of the yellow ochre. Throw some of that in there. The yellow ochre is a great color with the brown. Gives it this nice like gold sun-kissed look. And then we can come up maybe on the edge. We got a little bit of sunlight hitting the top of this sucker. Right, coming down in different places. Just peeking over the edge, right? But again, not everywhere. You don't want to overdo it. You want to leave areas with your shadow. But again, this is just going to make a difference in color. For somebody who's looking at buying your artwork, they're going to be able to see, oh, the sun is like just over the edge of that bit of mountain right there. And you can see this bright color. Don't want to do the whole thing the same amount of bright though, right? I promised somebody I was going to put a UFO in this painting. I said the next painting, he said, Josh needs to show us more UFOs. And I said, all right, you got it on my next painting. UFO Central, man. We'll put some of that yellow ochre over here as well. Just on the edge of that ridge where we get this little bit of sun that's like kissed it. Then take our 1-inch brush again, just very lightly from the bottom, just kind of pulling up in the air, in the, you know, the angle that we put the highlights down. And over here where we've got some more space, again, just like we did up here, just to bring these colors down, kind of make this little foggy area. Just dab it in. Dab, right? Just dab it. Swipe it up again. And who knows, maybe we can put some giant, super colorful bushes over here. It's been like more than a year since I used this Bob Ross half-size round brush, right? When I was first starting painting, I did not like this brush at all. And so I put it in the little tub back here and I just never used it. So we're gonna use it, gonna use it today to try to make these bushes down here in the corner. Okay, so for that, again, I want to get all this dark paint together, the blue, the black, the crimson, mix it up into this giant pile. You need more than you think. All right, the brush will soak up the paint. Why not? We'll throw some of that dark sap green in there too. It will literally just absorb the paint up into the brush and keep a lot of it in there versus coming out onto your canvas. So get a big pile, bigger than you think you need. We'll see what this sucker looks like. We pull it down, all right, pulling it down in one direction, kind of dabbing it in so it's very goopy. It's very goopy. Pull one of the bristles out for good luck. Then we'll come up in here and just go at this upward angle, right? And I want it to be really thick. I want it to stick to the canvas, which is again why you need a whole lot of paint. I want it to be very textured in here. I like this brush. I'll normally do the, some on the sides over here. I'll normally do the 1-inch brush when I'm making bushes like this. Again, every brush is going to give you a different, you know, different kind of look. But I like this one. Now that I'm a bit more experienced, maybe we'll come up over our little bit of mountain in here. Since I've got all this paint, throw some in there. The more you go over your thicker kind of mountain highlights over here, the harder it's going to be to get this paint to stick. All right, I'll throw another one up here. A little bit, just so we have that little bit in between. And then the bushes go off down the side around here. Just like so. Nice, thick, textured bushes, right? And clean this brush off because we'll use it to highlight our bushes. It seems like brand new. It's maybe used one time. Now it don't look like it's been used one time, that's for sure. So we want to take some suggestions from the crowd, right? Got a good amount of people watching. What color would you guys want to see these bushes, right? We've got all these colors. I listed them in the beginning. And now for our highlight colors, you know, we've got red, orange, yellow ochre, this yellow orange, which will stay orange versus the Indian yellow, which will go yellow. Mid yellow, lime green almost, I think it's called yellow green. Magenta, rose, pink. I'm going to save the silver for the UFO. We even have lavender, the seaweed green, the emerald green up here. So first person to comment is going to be able to tell me this top section, just this little area up here, what color that's going to be. So we'll wait. We'll wait. Because it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter what color it is. But I got a little bit of liquid white on the brush. And that's going to help these colors stick to these thicker bushes down here. Anybody, babe? We'll wait. Somebody better comment a color. All these colors. Look at all these colors. Someone pick something.
Chris says red oranges.
All right. That's going to be the top. So we'll take our red with the liquid white. I'm going to dab it in again, just like we did. I'm going to flip the brush over, right? Pull down in one direction, turn the brush over, come up in here, and just look at that. Just pop in all these very beautiful, bright colored little bits of orange and red, okay?
Sanette Patel says a thorn bush. Annette Babcock says orange. Kim Rexroad says yellow orange. And Tanya Pillsbury says yellow or lavender.
Okay.
We just didn't wait long enough.
Yeah, that's like all the colors. Thanks, guys, for saying all the colors. Okay. Come in here with a little bit of yellow next, with the yellow and the orange. Just really brighten up down in this bottom area. But what I'm doing is not covering over all of that shadow, right? You want to have these dark areas. Otherwise, your bush has no depth, right? If it's all the same orange or the same color, it's going to have no depth to it. You won't be able to see through it, right? These paintings that I do, it's all about starting in the front and seeing back into the distance. And that happens with your bushes as well. So you want to have these different colors. Nobody said green. No one said green bushes.
Nobody said green.
That's horrible, guys. I live in the desert, okay? We have green bushes, just like you guys out in the Midwest and in the East. We've got green in our bushes, so we'll put a little bit of green every so often. Maybe up here. Just a little bit of green. And all we're doing is just liquid white and then just touching it, right? All this thick paint over here is going to suck these highlights onto it. A thin paint is going to stick to a thick paint. So we're not taking it and smushing it on, right? We're not trying to make the bush. We're just trying to very lightly touch it, and whatever sticks is going to stick, right? And there's a bit of real bright green up here. And again, we're not trying to cover all of these dark areas either. We'll put some of that down in here, a little bit of the yellow. All it's doing is just changing the color. You don't want to have all green bushes or all orange bushes or yellow or whatever. You want to have these different colors, because when people come to look at it, if they're going to buy your painting and they're going to be looking at it, they want to see all these differences. They don't want to have the same thing over and over and over again. And even that doesn't look realistic when you have the same, you know, not all the trees are going to be the same color green or anything really. Why don't we come back in? You want to leave some space down around the bottom for, you know, your sticks and twigs and stuff like that. So don't go too nuts down around the bottom. I really like this yellow and orange. Whoever had that idea, they look lovely. A couple over here. All right, bam. Again, don't go too crazy. Don't go too crazy with the same colors all in the same spots, right? Want to change it up. Change it up. A little bit of red, a little bit of orange. Now we got this super colorful little section of bushes down here. I'm going to take this real fast to show you guys. Look at these. My hell. Right? You want to have all these differences in color. And that way, your painting will have a lot of depth. See, we can't get it back in the same spot. I need some tape on the floor. With a lot of depth, have a lot of different colors that will draw the eye, right? We're going to take our palette knife and come in, and in our darkest areas, just scrape through, and you get some little sticks that are holding all these little flowers and stuff up, right? Little sticks. Don't overdo it, though. You don't want to have too many. Bring them up into our thing. You can even have some up in here. Totally up to you. And again, that's just one more little detail when people look at your painting. It's going to go, wow, I wonder how he did all this and did that. So throw some sticks and twigs in there. Make this area nice and dark down here at the bottom. Man, that looks good, you guys. I really like the way this one's coming out. Just want to take a little bit of that shadowy color, throw it underneath here. Just give it a little bit more depth, right? A little bit more. But be careful, because you can definitely overdo it, right? But just with that little area down there, makes that look like there's a little bit of a drop off, which I really like. Bring some of it up here. Remember, it's always dangerous going back when you put something down underneath. I love the way this one's coming out. All right, now I made a promise to a guy. I'm sorry I can't remember your name. I know, like, if I saw your name in the comments, I would remember. But I said we're going to paint a UFO. So today, let's drop a UFO in this sucker. Now, some days my UFOs are spot on. Other days they're like the bane of my existence. And I just can't get them right. So we're going to see what kind of day today is, right? And I got this silver out on my palette. I might as well use this stuff. So we're going to take our filbert brush. We've already got all the colors that we need. Don't need anything special for a UFO. I literally use red, black, and crimson, black, and blue for almost everything. Right? It's the colors that I go through the most. They're literally my favorite. I could do a whole painting in crimson, black, and blue, and white, right? You've seen it before. It's actually up there. I don't know if this one, yeah, right up there with the road in it. Everybody seems to love that one. And it's just 4 colors. This one over here, 3 colors. That one right there, 3 colors. You don't need 20 colors to do a painting. If you don't have all these colors, go to amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, right? amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, okay? And you'll be able to get every color that I have. And the brushes and the canvas, the palette, the easel, the palettes. I've got everything listed there. You buy it straight from Amazon. And, I get like the teeniest little bit out of it for you guys going over there. But the main thing is I've put everything together all in one spot that you need to be able to paint, okay? All right, take our filbert brush. I'm going to come out. If you don't have, this is the one thing I don't have on Amazon is a yardstick. Go to your local hardware store. I might have to add one, but it's perfect for laying on our canvas and being able to make these small details, right? So why don't we throw one, let's see, just right back here. I'm going to take our brush and try to stay out of your guys' way. We're just going to make this little like flat, little arc, little flat on the bottom. And start small because these suckers will grow on you, okay? Trust me from experience. It will grow and grow and grow, and then you'll have this gigantic UFO in your painting. All right, you want it to be the right shape, the same on each side. You just could have a dip in it, or a hump, or a dome, whatever I'm trying to say. You have a dome in it. Let's put a dome on this guy, just like this. All right, little dome. Now, once you've done your dome, now you have to make sure it's perspectively the same on each side, away from your dome. Which is why I say start small, because it will grow. Okay? Now we need to come in with our smaller little liner brushes, which again, you can find amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. And just get a little bit more detailed than that big filbert brush. And the filbert brush is small until you start trying to do a UFO. Then it becomes very big. And again, our shadowing needs to be correct on the UFO, okay? Can't just have a flat looking UFO up there. You want it to be shadowed correctly and just as detailed as the rest of our painting, right? It doesn't look too bad. Sometimes I look at these things and it's the last thing I put in a painting, right? So if it's not right and it's the very last thing that goes in the painting, it's aggravating if I can't get it correct. That one's not too bad though. Not bad at all. I'll put a little dome on the bottom too. This is like your standard UFO shape. Okay, I'm going to take all this excess paint and just try to get the majority of it off, right? We're going to stay inside my lines. Don't want to go outside your line now that it's right. So if you do that, then you got to make it bigger. So trust me when I say start small. Bigger it gets, the more it's just going to take up your whole painting.
Sunit Patel says, bash a ray of light out of that UFO.
We could do that. We could shoot a beam down. It's really, this one's kind of far away in the distance though. So I don't know, it's not really going to beam anything up. You know what I mean? We're going to put some lights on it and stuff and kind of highlight it. But there's not really a beam. Let's see, all of our light is coming from this side. Why don't we throw our silver paint over here. Right, and again, as it gets over to the other side, it's going to get darker. And that's going to give it some depth. And this silver loves to just blend in and blend away. So I have this big pile of it just for this one little UFO because it loves to disappear on me. What's cool about this silver paint too is it's got these little specks of glitter in it that just make it look awesome. Just on that half of the bottom. Like this. Bam. Now we got half of it in the light, half of it in the shadow. Might be hard for you guys to see from back there. But it is, trust me. Trust in me. Let's see. Just gonna try to flatten it out a little. Nobody wants a bumpy UFO, right? Like that. Take a bit of our dark color and just create the distinction between the dome and the rest of the ship. Just by adding a little arc line down in here. All right, now we can see that there's a bit on the top and the bit down beneath. It's kind of rotating, if you will. If you will. Can you guys see that from back there? Come look. Come take a gander. See that? You see a little dark line? See how we got the silver and we got the black. It's going from light to dark, just like the rest of our painting, right? Just like the rest. I always try not to cover up too much of the darkness underneath because you need some of that shadow down here. Again, you want to be as straight as possible. That's why you use the yardstick if you can find one.
I added one to your brushes and tools on your Amazon shop list.
Oh, thank you. So now you can get a yardstick right on Amazon because my beautiful wife helped me out. She is so instrumental in my painting success, you guys. She's back there replying to everybody. She sets me up on all these different platforms so we can just rock and roll. If it were up to me, it'd be like Facebook and maybe YouTube. But we're on Twitch. We're on all these different streaming platforms now. She's the reason I have the Amazon influencer page, right? That you can go to, amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. Without her, I would have nothing. There we go. Just give a little bit of distinction around there. A little bit darker side to our UFO, right? Get a lighter and a darker side. Bring you in one more time. See what I mean? Got that dark underbelly because the light's just struggling to get down that far. And then with this line, I never like it to be straight, right? Just to kind of blend it in with the rest. Doesn't need to be a super, distinction from light to dark. You want to kind of blend it together. A little bit more of that black paint. Get that line back here like that. You could put panels on yours. You could do all sorts of stuff. You could do whatever you wanted to do. All right, get the beam. You could throw, something coming out, shooting out over this way, or shooting down and hitting the mountain. You could do whatever you want to do. All right, what color should we do the lights, you guys? Gonna have some white lights. We could have blue lights. I didn't even barely use that blue that we had. Sort of makes me mad. I'll grab some of that cobalt blue right here. And you can shadow it with the blue. Anybody have an idea on lights?
Annette Babcock says blue.
Blue lights. Oh, it's cool too. We almost forgot to do the dome. All of the dome is not in the light. You gotta have a little bit of dark area on your dome as well.
Tanya Pillsbury says bluish white lights.
Okay, it is decided. So it begins. I got a little bit of shadow on each one.
Kim Rex Road says blue with a white center.
At least everybody has the same idea. All right, we're going to come in with our liquid white into this cobalt blue, which is already a little bit, the Magic Fly paints are much better for highlights, I feel. I'm not sure that I would do a whole painting in a Magic Fly set just because it becomes very wet in the sky. The mountains are wet. It's harder to get, wet paint to stick to, like super sloppy wet paint to stick to wet paint, right? So I love these Magic Fly paints just for the highlights. You'll be very surprised. You can get like 40-piece set for $23, something like that. And they're awesome. My wife got them for me for Christmas, and I was like, I'm a Bob Ross paint guy. Okay, I don't want to use anything besides Bob Ross paint. And then I did it on one painting, and I was like, what an a-hole I've been. I love these little Magic Fly paints. All right, we'll take some of our liquid white with the blue, just so it'll stick. And we'll come up here, touch a little circle onto there. Stay on the edges of our UFO. Make sure they're all, the same distance apart. And get these little blue lights over there. Maybe we'll alternate blue and white. A little bit of blue, a little bit of white. We got a white one coming up next. Right over there, staying on the edge. Bing, bang, boom. Go over to this side. Drop another bit right in there. Now, since we use the blue to kind of shadow this side, they're not standing out as much, which is why we're alternating with the white lights. That way, when, you guys might be able to see the white lights from back there, at least when I come up and show you, but when you're up here, you'll be able to notice all these different blues in here. Maybe a white light over there. Our last little blue light right out here on the corner. So take some of this dark, mix it in. Try not to touch our lights now, guys. The hardest part, trying to go backwards. we go. It's looking really good. I like that. I like that. Maybe we'll throw some lights along the bottom. We did blue up there. Why don't we put some red lights down here? A little bit of red down around the bottom of our little mini, our underdome, right? Come take a look at this, you guys. I know the angle is hard with the this tripod being so large, but you can see we got blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, and then like 4 red dots down underneath. And just based on where this one is sitting, I don't think we need to throw a beam in there. It's not really beaming down on anything. It's small, so it's further away than these mountains. It's not like we're right over the top. But I think it looks really good. I like that. And again, yours doesn't have to be on a straight line. You could do it on an angle. It could be like flaying in this way. You could do whatever you want to do. Literally whatever you want. Totally up to you. Here we go. I think that looks fantastic, though. Fantastic. Been filming for about an hour. It's usually about the length of the majority of my videos. I know you guys can, pause and go back and rewatch it again. Of course, rewatch it, watch it a million times, right? And you can kind of get the hang of doing a painting like this. So we're going to sign the sucker, and then we're going to be done for the day. Now, in my painting, I always put my family in my paintings, and that's represented by these little birds that are flying far off in the distance. It's me, my wife, and my daughter. I sign them into every single painting that I do. Even the ones in space, they turn into space birds. And then I like leaving a nice dark area down around the bottom here so we can throw our signature. I can throw it over there. I can throw it over here. Doesn't really much matter. We'll put it on this side, get in your guys' way for a minute. Damn. All right, guys. Well, I've got a mountain of brushes to go clean up. I really like to thank you guys for sticking with me, everybody that's still watching. You can find this painting for sale on Etsy. Etsy.com/shop/happylandscapeart, along with any of the other paintings I have, plus all the products that we have, like pillows and flip-flops and, beach towels, tote bags, purses, shirts, everything. Got so many things on Etsy. Etsy.com/shop/happylandscapeart. As I bump the painting and get paint all over myself and my sweater. This has become my painting sweater. There's like is it right here? Where's it at? Somewhere around my nipple, there's like a dot of paint that got stuck to the thing. Is it this side? Yeah, here we go. Right there. Now it's become my painting sweater. So go to Etsy, check out my Etsy store. The more you guys support me and my Etsy shop, the more canvases I can buy and then bring you guys more free videos, right? Need the support in order to be able to buy the canvases. So go buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy the apron, the Happy Landscapes apron, where we make a mess, right? It's my tagline, make a mess. Of course, support Maria's fundraiser for her surgery. That's going to be on May 15th. If you guys follow me on my pages, the closer we get to May 15th, the more we're going to be putting out. She keeps getting more art donated, so there's always going to be new things to talk about and bid on, and then we'll all go over there and bid on and try to help her, raise the money that she needs to get this surgery. So insurance never covers everything, which is a horrible thing. You pay and pay and pay, and then all of a sudden you got to come out of pocket $6,000 to get a life-saving surgery that you need. So we're all going to go do that on the 15th. If you need to buy any paintings, or you need a new easel or more canvases, you want the palette that I use, you want the micro liner brushes that we use in order to make all these small details, or the Bob Ross brushes. You don't have Bob Ross white, you need some Bob Ross liquid clear, or the liquid white, or the liquid black. I have literally everything on my Amazon shop, amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. There's no more reputable company than Amazon, so don't worry about the shipping. They ship very quickly. You can sign up through Prime, get the Prime shipping through my Amazon link, right? The more clicks you guys get over there, the tiny little amount of money that I make, like pennies on, $20. I don't even know, it's like 1%, whatever it is, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I want you guys to have the same paints, the same supplies, the same everything that I have in order to create paintings, right? When I first started, I saw Bob Ross. I got the whole Bob Ross set. I was like, this is what he uses. This is what I need in order to paint like him, right? It's not 100% true. But you can get your fan brushes, your 1-inch, 2-inch brush, everything that you need, plus things that, I want, like bigger easels and stuff like that. I've got tons of stuff. Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. Again, I want to thank you guys for sticking with me. And, send in your paintings to Facebook. Search at Happy Landscape Art. You'll find Happy Little Landscapes. Send me a message with your version of this painting. And, when you post it in the rooms, make sure you share my page or put the link to the YouTube video or something in there. And, again, the more you guys support me or the more you guys share, I can't reach everybody, right? I need your guys' help to grab everybody, bring them to the channel, bring them to the pages, and we can all learn how to paint with Josh and have a great time, right? So we're going to say goodbye because I always ramble on too long at the end. But check out all of my sites, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, literally on everything. Amazon Live, Amazon influencer page, all this stuff. You guys can find me on there. And, I really want to thank you for sticking with us. And you guys have the rest of a good day. And I'm going to go, clean up. So you guys have fun, and we'll talk to you on the next one, all right? Bye. Just sit here and wait for the... when you post it in the rooms, make sure you share my page or put the link to the YouTube video or something